Hi children, at the end of today's class, you'll be able to learn the natural vegetation and the importance of natural vegetation and how does this natural vegetation support a variety of wildlife. Students, what do you see in this picture? Yes, you can see a beautiful silk scarf. Children, do you know how do this beautiful silk scarf is made out of? Yes, it is made out of silk thread. That silk threads are made out of silkworms out of the cocoons. Students, you see a beautiful jute bag over here, right? Yes, it's really very beautiful. Then you might have think a question inside yourself. You might have asked yourself that how this beautiful jute bag is made out of. Yes, you are also right. It is made out of jute plants, which you can see here. These jute plants, after they dried up, they'll be undergo with some process. So here the man is processing the jute plant over there. And finally, the jute is made out of the jute plant. With that jute, they'll make these beautiful carpets or doormats, etc. Students, let us know the meaning of biosphere. Natural vegetation and wildlife exist only in the narrow zone of contact between the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. That is called, that we can call it as biosphere. So it means the atmosphere, lithosphere and hydrosphere interact each other. It is a very narrow zone. In this very narrow zone, life exists. Otherwise, the survival of the human beings or any living thing is impossible. Now let us see what is an ecosystem. In the biosphere, living beings are interrelated and interdependent on each other for survival. This life supporting system is known as ecosystem. Here you can see the primary consumer, the squirrel, which consumes the nuts or the fruits from the tree, and the secondary consumer, the fox, who eats the squirrel. So the squirrel depends upon the tree and this fox depends upon the squirrel. If both of them they die, they will decompose and become nitrogen and helps the plants for its growth. In that way, the nature is interdependent. The living beings are interdependent. So, children, let us see the uses of plants. Plants provide us with timber, they give us shelter to the animals, produce oxygen we breathe, protects the soil from erosion, give a good rainfall. They help in storage of underground water because their roots help the plants to penetrate deep into the soil and leads to seepage of water into the ground. And these plants may purify the air we breathe. These also moderate the temperature. They cool the atmosphere and leads to good rainfall. These plants also support many industries like paper, rubber and many medicinal industries also. Students, let us see an interesting fact about vultures. Have you ever seen vultures, children? Yes. Here you can see the picture of vulture. So vultures in Indian subcontinent were dying of kidney failure. Do you know why? Yes, they are eating the livestock which are treated with diclofenac. It's nothing but a painkiller which we use for headache or the body pains. It's equal to aspirin or ibuprofen which we also use them. So efforts are on the ban the drug for the livestock use breed vultures in captivity. We all know that vulture, due to its ability to feed on the dead livestock, is a scavenger and considered a vital cleanser of the environment. If these vultures are endangered, there is nobody to clean the environment. If any animal die in your surroundings, you or anybody, somebody else will take them and they bury them. But what happens if any animal die in the desert or forest? Yes, these vultures they go and eat them and clean the environment. If not, lots of nitrogen emits or combines mix in the air and damages the air. So, wildlife includes animals, birds, insects as well as the aquatic life forms also. They also provide us milk, meat, hides and wool. Insects like bees provide us honey and they help in pollination of flowers also. So all these plants and all these animals they help in maintaining the ecosystem. If this balance is disturbed, everything will be disturbed. Students, let us see the distribution of natural vegetation. The growth of vegetation depends primarily on temperature and moisture. These two are the major factors for the growth of vegetation. Let us see the major types of vegetation. The major types of vegetation of the world are grouped as forests, grasslands, scrubs and tundra. The areas of heavy rainfall, huge trees may thrive. The forests are thus associated with areas having abundant water supply. Children, in fact, the rainfall is most important factor for the growth of forests. It means the areas which receives more amount of rainfall, they have the tall trees and the density is also very high. It means you can see thick forest over there. And the areas which receive moderate rainfall have short and stunted trees. Some areas you can also observe grasses. So the areas which receive low rainfall supports thorny bushes. It means shrubs, scrubs, etc. The plants in such regions penetrate deep. It means the plant roots, they penetrate deep into the soil to get the water from the ground level. And the leaves also develop thorns and the surface of the leaves also covered with wax to reduce the loss of moisture through transpiration. Tundra vegetation. This kind of vegetation you can observe in the polar regions. They comprise mostly of mosses and lichens. Forests are broadly classified as evergreen and deciduous forests. They depends upon what the amount of rainfall they receive. For example, evergreen forests receive rainfall throughout the year. That's why they don't shed their leaves in any season because they don't have any dry season. But when you come to the case of deciduous forests, they shed their leaves in dry season because they not receive rainfall all through the year. And both the type of this forest are again further classified into tropical or temperate based on their latitudes. Of course, though it's a tropical plant, but if the latitude is lying in the temperate region, that becomes temperate evergreen or tropical evergreen which we say. Likewise, deciduous temperate deciduous or tropical deciduous which we say. Which you have this topic which you have learnt in the area classes, it means in your 7th class. Forest cover all over the world is vanishing rapidly. You know why? Yes, for the feeding of the growing population. If this continues, our population or the survival of human beings is in danger.